Students are there? Okay. Good afternoon, students. Actually, this time was allotted for Poonam madam, but as she is not present in the school, she will give you recorded classes. This time I am using, so this will be only live streaming today for you. Okay. Poonam madam's recorded classes will be available. So after this class, I don't think that you will be having classes. I am not remembering the timetable. Live streaming classes and any other subject, it will be there. It will follow as per time schedule. Okay. Otherwise, the teacher will inform you. Okay. Now let us remember yesterday what we had learned. Gandhiji's association in South Africa, and now let us remind that in 1915 Gandhiji returned to India, and the Champaran Satyagraha in 1970. This Gandhiji returned. This Champaran Satyagraha. This we have completed yesterday. Champaran Satyagraha. Okay, now we move to the next incident. So starting from 1915, now 1917, the next is Kheda Satyagraha. See in your page, next page, Kheda Satyagraha, the year is 1917, then 1918, 17 to 1918. This Kheda Satyagraha. Okay, listen. What is this Kheda? Where is Kheda situated? That you know, it is in Gujarat only. Kheda district of Gujarat experienced famine in the year 1917. The agricultural production was destroyed. Still, the British government, instead of waiving the tax, tried to collect tax from farmers. Under the leadership of Gandhiji, the farmers started Satyagraha against the Britishers. Gandhiji told the farmers that they would not pay the tax until the government accepted their demands. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel quit his practice as a lawyer as a mark of protest and joined with Gandhiji. Gandhiji wrote a letter to the collector that if the tax of poor farmers was waived, then the richer farmers would pay the regular tax. At the end, the collector passed an order for the same in 1918 and the movement was successful. In very shortly, what is Kheda Satyagraha? It is mentioned here. It is a place in Gujarat, and there, particular that region, drought and famine was there. Because of this famine, what happened? The agricultural crops destroyed. We know if drought is there, definitely due to water scarcity, agricultural crops will destroy. Then it was British rule at that time, but what the British government did, suppose agricultural production is not there, then there is no right to impose tax on agricultural product. They must waive off the tax, they must cancel, otherwise reduce the tax. But instead of waiving off the tax, what did the British government do? They tried to collect the tax from farmers. Compulsory, they demanded the tax. One side it is famine, drought and everything, agricultural production is not fair, so farmers are in poverty. At the same time, British government was compelling them to pay tax. From where they will give the tax? All farmers are not the very rich farmers. If the farmers are very rich, they may be having money, otherwise the previous amount that they collected to avoid this compulsion up to a certain limit they were able to give. But what was the condition of poor farmers? The poor farmers could not, the poor farmers could not tolerate it with. Okay, then what did Gandhiji do? They demanded to Gandhiji to get leadership of this. So under the leadership of Gandhiji, the farmers started Satyagraha against Britishers. Again the same word satyagraha, desire for truth, that word is coming, satyagraha. So here Champaran satyagraha, but here Kheda satyagraha. What was the reason behind Kheda satyagraha? That the Britishers imposed, otherwise Britishers compelled the farmers to give tax, because the farmers give tax, but the farmers rejected because they were affected by famine and drought, and agricultural production was not proper, not fair. So in such a condition, poor farmers were not able to pay the tax that the Britishers demanded. So they requested Gandhiji to take leadership of this satyagraha, and Gandhiji told the farmers that they would not pay the tax until the government accepted their demands. And Gandhiji put forward the demand to British government, and he instructed the farmers, you are not supposed to pay tax now. The government, British government must accept our demands. Afterwards only we will go for this. Now Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel quit his practice as a lawyer. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was also a lawyer, and he was practicing, not in South Africa, but he quit his job as a practicing lawyer. Then he joined with Gandhiji. Joined with Gandhiji means he joined in Kheda Satyagraha along with Gandhiji. As a protest, what did he do? He quit his law practicing. See, that is written, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel quit his practice as a lawyer as a mark of protest. Underline. So this complete paragraph is very important. What was the reason behind Kheda Satyagraha? Its year, and who were the main leaders. Gandhiji took the leadership, along with that Sardar Patel also came forward. Okay. Gandhiji wrote a letter to the collector. Then Gandhiji decided to write a request letter to the collector that if the tax of poor farmers was waived, then the richer farmers would pay the regular tax. What was in that demanding letter? Otherwise, in that requesting letter, what was written? Gandhiji was written, it was written by Gandhiji like that, if the poor farmers' tax was waived, then the rich farmers will pay the regular tax. So give exemption to the poor farmers, then the rich farmers will give regular tax. And finally, the collector passed an order of the same, and it was successful. So this was Gandhiji's role in Kheda Satyagraha. Okay, so what is Kheda Satyagraha? What was the reason behind that Kheda Satyagraha? Who was the leader? And second, along with that famous leader who came, and what did Sardar Patel do? Otherwise, Vallabhbhai Patel did as a protest. So all these small points are there. Each and every line is important. Now the next paragraph, the Kheda Satyagraha did not yield much result, but it became important because of the principles on the basis of which was underlined. But it was successful because of the principles on the basis of which it was fought. On which principle it was fought? Poor farmers must get benefit. At the same time, richer farmers, they will pay the regular tax. That was the condition put forward by Gandhiji. The farmers became aware, fearless and courageous. Underline that also. As a result of this Kheda Satyagraha, what was the feeling of farmers? They became aware. They became aware of their right, and they became fearless, and they became courageous. Fearless, courageous and aware. The most important outcome was that the nation and Gandhiji got a devoted and committed leader like Vallabhbhai Patel. Till then, Vallabhbhai Patel was not there in front of this freedom movement. Now, because of this Kheda Satyagraha, Gandhiji and India, our nation, got a leader like Vallabhbhai Patel. That also underline. Complete this two paragraphs, very important, you must learn by heart. Okay, if you are underlining, then all these portions to be underlined. Now the question, discuss the similarities and dissimilarities between Champaran and Kheda Satyagraha. Just to think that what are the similarities? Both the Satyagrahas were for farmers. Yes, no. Kheda Satyagraha and Champaran Satyagraha, there was both the Satyagrahas were for the benefit of farmers. This is a similarity. And the similarity in both, Gandhiji took leadership. Yes. And in dissimilarity. What is any dissimilarity is there? In this second one, it was considering as poor farmers' benefit, and in first one it was totally for the whole family of farmers. Okay, and this another dissimilarity. Can you find out any other dissimilarity, any other difference? In second one we got a new leader, it was Vallabhbhai Patel, and in first one Vallabhbhai Patel's role was not there. Okay. Now we are again moving to the next incidents, 15, 17, 17 and 18. Now we are moving to 1919. What is the speciality of 1919? It is Rowlatt Act. It is not Rowlatt Act and Rowlatt Satyagraha. It is Rowlatt Act, otherwise Rowlatt Satyagraha, and the year is 1990. Now what is this Rowlatt? England was victorious in First World War. First World War, earlier I told you 1914 it was started, and 1914 to 1918 almost, and 1919 it is starting, almost the victory was over. And who was the victorious in World War? England and the treaties. Rowlatt Act was implemented by the Britishers, England means Britishers, to control the public unrest and control the anti-colonial activities. After First World War, when England became victorious, in many parts of the world, the British colonies, they were just became unrest. Otherwise, they were very uncontrollable, these colonial people, because they were against Britishers, against the people of England. So England felt that, otherwise Britain felt that it is very much necessary to control this unrest. Public unrest, public anti-colonial activities. Colonial activities means the Britishers made colonies, otherwise Europeans made colonies for the purpose of ruling. So the people of that particular countries, they protested against this. It is known as anti-colonial activities. So this unrest public, a lot of anti-colonial activities they did against the Britain. So it was the decision of British government that anyway it is very necessary to control the unrest of the public. The public should be pacified in any way. So they were thinking of that. What can we do for that? And what could they done? Now let us see. The Rowlatt Act authorized the government to exercise stricter control on the press, arrest without warrant, and indefinite detention in jail without trial. Now see, underline, what was the purpose of Rowlatt Act? What authority this Rowlatt Act given? It is the Rowlatt Act authorized the government to exercise stricter control on the press, medias at that time, printing press, especially newspaper, pamphlets and all this, not the social medias like this. Strict control over press. Government control the press means only in government favor the press, the news and the other thing will come out. Okay. Second one, arrest without warrant. You know, studied in 7th standard what is warrant. If anyone to be arrested, then warrant issued to be there, and the culprit, if he is a culprit, he would have the right to know why he is getting arrested. But here, without any warning, this Rowlatt Act gave permission to arrest without warrant and indefinite detention in jail without trial. And there is any trial policies in the jail. Indefinite detention. कितना भी महीने है, चाहे कितना भी साल हो, आपको जेल में रहना है. No trial over this. Once the police caught and put him in the jail, then he will stay there only, inside the jail. No further proceedings to get bail or something like that. So this very cruel policy, this was Rowlatt Act. So underline what was Rowlatt Act and what it authorized. The Rowlatt Act authorized the government to exercise stricter control on the press. So first one is control of press. Underline, point wise if you learn that it will be easy. Then second one, arrest without warrant. Second point. And third one, indefinite detention in jail. Indefinite detention in jail. So these 3 points are there mainly in this Then what happens? The accused were denied to right to know the accusers and the evidence used in the trial against them. And who were the culprits, the accusers? They were against, they were not knowing what was the what we can say, the problem what they had done. They were not aware about this, and what were the proceedings going on, that also the authority did not make them aware. So they were in the dark room of jail, nothing more than that. Police caught them and put them in the jail in a room. This act was a complete violation of fundamental rights and freedom of expression and speech. So definitely it is against fundamental right, against freedom of expression and speech. Freedom of expression means through press, otherwise through media. So if you express something, just the police catching you and then putting into jail. That was the situation. So it is against fundamental right. So Gandhiji protested against this and Gandhiji called it as Black Act. So which act is known as Black Act? So another name is Black Act. Otherwise, Rowlatt Act, Black Act, Rowlatt Satyagraha, all these three names are same only. But why did Gandhiji call it Black Act? Because what this Rowlatt Act authorized. Because of that, the Rowlatt Act authorized the government to exercise stricter control on the press, arrest without warrant and indefinite detention in jail without trial, and this was really complete violation of fundamental rights. That sentence also to be added, fundamental rights violation. So Gandhiji called it as Black Act. The Rowlatt Satyagraha was the first struggle of the entire nation against the Britishers. Underline that also, which was the first struggle of the entire nation. Kheda Satyagraha, it was in a particular place. Champaran was also at a particular place. Now it was an entire nation. Okay, it was, but mainly it was focused on big cities only. The entire nation it was there, but main focus was in the big cities only. Rallies, otherwise processions were organized, and strikers were called out to protest against that throughout the country. The Britishers resorted to suppression to curb this movement. So in cities and in other areas, rallies, processions and other protest activities the people done, but Britishers were trying to stop this, curb this protest activities. Okay, this is Rowlatt Act, and in this Rowlatt Act, what was Rowlatt Act and why it is called Black Act, who called it as Black Act, so all these things to be learned. Next one, again in 1919, another incident is there, that is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Again 1919. So 1992 incidents you remember, Jallianwala Bagh. You all of know, yes, this no? Okay, Jallianwala Bagh massacre भी है UG. Jallianwala Bagh massacre. BAUG. Okay. It was in 1990, and in patriotic song also, this related patriotic song is there. This word many times you might have heard, but did you enquire what is this? Let us see. As a part of the protest against Rowlatt Act, this is a continuation of Rowlatt Act. People were protesting against this. The people of Punjab announced a strike on 30th March and 6th April 1909. See the dates. And from which part of the country? From Punjab. Okay, that also to be remembered. Underline. The condition of Amritsar was almost out of control, and looking at this, martial law was declared in Amritsar. Especially Punjab, in Amritsar, the public unrest was too much after the implementation of Rowlatt Act. So there was strict martial law was implemented. Means no public gathering and any such incidents if reported, police will arrest. That type of law was implemented. At the same time, a meeting was organized on 13th April, day of Vaishagi, in the Jallianwala Bagh to pay tribute to the martyrs and also to protest against the arrest of Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Kichlu. Two leaders were arrested. Underline their names, Satyapal and Kichlu. Dr. Satyapal and Kichlu. And one protest meeting was arranged on the day of Vaishagi. We know Vaishagi, Punjabi's festival. So on that day, there was a meeting arranged, and it was in Jallianwala Bagh. It was a garden, just like a garden in the Jallianwala Bagh, to pay tribute to martyrs. The purpose was to pay tribute to martyrs, those who died for the nation, to pay respect to them, and at the same time to protest against the arrest of these two leaders, Satyapal and Kichlu. Approximately 10,000 people were gathered in this meeting on that Jallianwala Bagh area. 10,000, approximate 10,000 people were gathered. Then General Dyer, underline the British officer's name, General Dyer, blocked the only exit of the bag and ordered firing at the unarmed people gathered there. Those people were really unarmed. They did not bring any weapon because it was a peaceful meeting on the day of Vaishagi. And the Jallianwala Bagh, the speciality of that was only one entry and exit, only one open place was there. The other all sides were what we can say highly it was walled. So only through one way they were able to enter and exit. So what did General Dyer order the British officer? Ordered to close that, the entry and exit region, and then afterwards he ordered to firing the unarmed people, to shoot the people. Now where the people will go? The only entry exit region, it was closed, and the high wall, it was not able to climb over and run away from that area. So these 10,000 people, they were locked in that garden, in the Jallianwala Bagh. That was the situation. The firing started without any prior notice or warning, without any intimation to the public who were gathered over there. Just the British government ordered to fire. Just people were very peacefully sitting, and the British officers started to fire as per the order of General Dyer. There were high walls around it, so people could not escape from the constant firing, complete constant firing. The high wall, how people will climb up? It stopped only when the soldiers ran out of ammunition, when their guns became empty. Till then they shot. Without ammunition means they lost their weapons. Otherwise the bullets were completed. At that time they stopped it. Till the last bullet they shot. As per the official records, 379 died and 1,200 were injured, but in reality the casualties were much more than. We know only one entrance that is closed and around 10,000 people are there. Then what is the chance? Only 379 died, but the reality is very different. The casualties were much more than mentioned in the official report. Gandhiji completely lost his faith in the British sense of justice and fairness. So now Gandhiji lost all his hope. Now Gandhiji, because he was a person of non-violence. Now what did they do? So Gandhiji lost all hope. Now see, the picture is given in the Jallianwala Bagh. The Jallianwala Bagh, people are pointing at the places where the bullets were fired and the marks left behind, just to see there. So Gandhiji did not agree with this. At the same time, some other great personalities also responded with knighthood, the award given by the King or Queen of England to a person for an outstanding success or public work. This is very important. Underline, what is knighthood award? The award given by King or Queen of England to a person for an outstanding success or public work or talent. So Rabindranath Tagore received this knighthood award. He renounced, means he left. उसने बोला मुझे आपने जो दिया नाइटहुड अवार्ड नहीं चाहिए, बिकॉज योर पीपल किल्ड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल ऑफ इंडिया at Jallianwala Bagh. So to show sympathy towards these people, Rabindranath Tagore renounced the knighthood award. knighthood as a protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. These 2 points are very important. Efforts were made to unite Hindus and Muslims during the Rowlatt Satyagraha. Gandhiji wanted that the Hindus and Muslims should stand united to attain justice. And at the same time, efforts were made to unite Hindus and Muslims. Already we had seen there was a lot of issues. The Britishers sowed the seeds of this Hindu-Muslim enmity. But Gandhiji was trying to bring them together. Okay, today this much, and Narendra sir's class will be there, I think. Sir will continue. Next, Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement, that will continue in next class. Okay, so now from 1915 to 1919 we have reached. So what were the main important incidents? Gandhiji returned, Challan Satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha, Rowlatt Act, and the same year Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay, so complete the work.